A scary spike of COVID-19 pauses plans to reopen Texas. How the surge is raising tensions over wearing masks and raising questions about keeping Texans safe as voting starts in the statewide runoff elections.
And the last thing we need to do right now is to subject our folks to another round.
Leaders in other states look to protect people from the coronavirus. Why that's putting new restrictions on travelers from Texas. The surprising costs of COVID-19 tests. While some Texans pay hundreds, even thousands of dollars, others don't pay a dime. What you need to know to avoid paying too much. Hello, and thank you for joining us for State of Texas. I'm Josh Hinkle. In the past week, COVID-19 cases skyrocketed in Texas. The state set records for new cases nearly every day. That has Governor Abbott sounding the alarm and putting the brakes on plans to move forward with reopening the state. And as the virus count grew, he took more dramatic steps to slow the spread.
Our early goal was to slow the spread of the coronavirus to prevent our hospitals from becoming overrun. We succeeded in that early goal by following the best practices to make sure that we did slow the spread.
On Monday, Governor Abbott said hospital capacity is still abundant despite average hospitalizations doubling since the end of May.
Surely the public can understand that if those spikes continue, additional measures are going to be necessary.
But he said then that shutting the state back down will be a last resort. Instead, he said he would rely on Texans to follow current guidelines.
Wearing a mask, cracking down on places that are not following the protocols that have been established in here, making sure that everyone is following the best standards to reduce the spread of the COVID-19.
But some health experts warned that wouldn't be enough. Texas Children's Hospital in Houston started to take in adult patients as the surge of cases put Houston hospitals near capacity. And other big cities like Dallas and Austin faced signs of serious problems too.
So our big metro areas seem to be rising very quickly. And some of the models are, on the verge of being apocalyptic.
Texas Democrats want more action, including mandating masks.
I think where we're at right now is we don't need necessarily a full shutdown, but we do need to make more restrictions.
On Thursday, the governor did add some restrictions. He directed hospitals in Bexar, Dallas, Harris, and Travis counties to postpone elective surgeries to free up hospital beds. He also slowed down his phased plan to reopen Texas.
We are, at least for now, pressing pause on any further openings while we do look at other ways to calibrate strategies that will allow us to reduce the spread of COVID-19.
Friday brought more executive actions. The governor ordered rafting and tubing businesses to close. He ordered many Texas bars to shut down and limited restaurants to 50% capacity. Last week, the governor gave the okay for local governments to order businesses to require workers and customers to wear masks. Those orders quickly took effect in big cities like Houston, Austin, and San Antonio, and they're already reaching smaller Texas cities. Galveston Mayor Jim Yarbrough announced a mask order for residents Monday. City officials say the order came in response to the growing number of coronavirus cases in the area.
No, we will not. We are not in the process of looking to mandate the wearing of face masks.
Midland Mayor Patrick Payton said his city will leave it up to individual businesses to decide whether workers and customers wear masks. But the rules could soon change in neighboring Odessa. Mayor David Turner asked Odessa's city attorney to draft a mask ordinance. The city could hold an emergency meeting next week to consider the plan. Mask orders can bring out angry responses. In Bexar County, a man who did not want to wear a mask has been charged with assaulting the county judge who put the mask order in place. It happened Wednesday at a Lowe's in San Antonio. Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf saw a customer arguing with a cashier who asked him to wear a mask. Judge Wolf tried to intervene and offered the man his business card. Video shows the man smacked the card out of Wolf's hand. Then he started arguing with the judge.
Soon thereafter, Judge Wolf actually was able to call me on the phone and put me on speakerphone, and I could hear this suspect just berating the judge. He knew exactly who he was, he knew exactly who he was dealing with, and he knew that he was in violation of the judge's order.
The man now faces a felony charge of assault on a judge, which is a second-degree felony. While some Texans view mask orders as an issue of personal freedom, most doctors see it as a health issue that can help save lives and jobs in Texas.
I've had a number of conversations with people that I'm close with who see masking as an attack on one's personal liberties. I can understand that perspective. I also can understand that while you are free to do the wrong thing, you are also free to do the right thing. And the right thing to do is to protect yourself from this disease, protect other people from this disease, and do our best to bend the curve so that we can continue to keep our economy open,